Good morning. This is 2:05 a.m. Indianapolis time, USA. Now I'm outside, no house, nothing, homeless, just walking on the streets of Indianapolis. It has become so serious and terrible for me. The living condition has been terrible because I have, and I don't know why some people are adamant. For me, this is a useless country. The United States of America is a useless country.
$1,218.67. Yeah, for one building.
The rising cost of utilities definitely does have some effect on the reason we're going to just under one roof.
After we went through our first year, we looked at the electric bill, and that was what started a lot of the rift with the West Virginians, that we were going to have to raise the rent when they had camping the same way for so many years.
You're getting $1,300 to $1,500 bills for electric. And West Virginia has decided that they're going to run on coal for at least 2040.
And look towards the future, you know, and bigger plans, but sometimes it's just so sad. For the winter, because I knew, and we lost our only source of income at that time.
14 months ago, we opened up this small gallery here, which is only 1,900 square feet. We just love it here. But the problem is we're getting really beat up with the high energy costs. This small gallery, I keep the temperature down kind of low, and I'm still paying $700, $800 a month. The power company, I've called several times, and I told them, look, I'm a senior citizen, I'm 71, I'm an artist, and I have a gallery, and I'm trying to help the community. Is there any program that can help us to help our community? She says, I'm sorry, we really don't have that.
The coal mines. I love the current administration, but what about the coal mines? If they're digging, baby digging, I don't see it here. I've had to close down 2 stores because I can't afford rent. You have a gas bill, you have an electricity bill, you have water bill, you have sewer bill, okay? I can't afford all that plus pay $2,000 a month rent.
Hello, my people. People in the West, you know, they are struggling to maintain their standard of living, you know, and this is gonna get worse. But the thing is that Africans want to leave their father's land in Africa, home in Africa, and make this internal journey to come to the West. What I say this internal journey is that most of the time when they come, they don't leave, they stay. And they're going to be cut off with what is happening in the West now, because you see in that short clip that people are struggling to the electricity bill, the accommodation, you know, house rent, you know, it's skyrocketing. Which this means that you work every day, wake up most of the time early in the morning, go to work and come back just to pay bills, you know. And the only thing different with some Africans, especially those that don't have children that live in the West, is that they try to manage their life. They try to limit, you know, they don't mind where they live. Somebody can stay in one room for 10 years in the West if the person is single. So which means he can a little bit navigate this harsh reality, you know, this hostile reality that the West is turning into, you know. But imagine if you have children and they're from Africa, you are in the West, you know. You don't have to, you can't live in one room. You can't even live in two rooms is not enough. You have to look for 2-bed or even 3-bed flat for you to live with your children. And most of the places, you know, you see the amount people pay in house rent, you know that you're gonna be working yourself. You can't even go on holidays. You can't even make more travel. You have to work yourself to death before you can afford for you and your children to have an accommodation to live in the West. because even the Western people, some of them are fed up. People living in the West, some of them, I think you're gonna see, or some people have started exodus. They have started leaving their country, to find a better place where they can be affordable, because it's no longer affordable. That's why you see during the COVID, they have opened some of them eyes, where you can work remotely. Some of Americans that are in South Africa working, they're getting paid in American dollars. They're working remotely. They are in many places in Africa living, because the standard of living is quite cheap in Africa at the moment. But it's cheap for somebody, not like it's cheap for Africans. It's cheap for somebody that is getting earning in a foreign currency. I'm not saying like things are cheap in Africa, like for Africans. Africans are suffering. I can understand why people want to leave that place, because as a human being, you have an instinct to look for where you can get improvement. You can't just, if you see there is no much, hope where you are living, and eventually you might end up if you continue in that road, living there, you might find yourself in dead end, which most people might do in Africa. That's why they're trying to move. But the thing is that you are moving to a place, you're making this journey. You have to have in the back of your mind that this journey you're making is not going to be roses. The road is not going to be. It comes with a lot of suffering, especially if you try to settle in the West. I think my advice for people that want to come to West is to have a plan B. Plan B is make sure that you have an exit plan, because it might come to a extent that you can't afford to live in the West anymore, because the money they are paying is not so high. They're not paying a lot of money, and you're not going to earn a lot of money, but the bills going up every year. Or sometimes it's just every 6 months, because all the time they say there's inflation, there's war, stuff like that, shortage of this, shortage of that, and these rich people, the wealthy, they are in control of the economy, so they keep making more money. Anything that happens in the West, any bad stuff that happens in the West, some people will win. That's why you see, even if they're fighting war, those people producing ammunition are winning. You know what I mean? If the food prices go up, those that own the supermarket, they are winning. They will just use the opportunity and make extra money. So for them, it's a win-win. But for ordinary people, it's not. So it's suffering, and there's no way to avoid it. There's no way. People that in abroad will tell you this. It's not like people was telling you, discourage you not to make a move. You know what I mean? It's just you're making a move. The people that you are going to meet, they are trying to make a move as well to go out of the West, because it's becoming unaffordable. You know what I mean? It's becoming highly unaffordable. Except if you and there's no there's no way you can go around it. Even the people that their places from the West, these people I'm talking about, people that they are from the West. I'm not talking about the immigrants. They're struggling as well, but they have shortcuts as well. They can do some shortcut that the immigrants cannot do. Because it's their country. So and when you see, you can't do what they do, because the same law might not apply equally to you as they apply to them. Even if you do the same stuff they do, that's not good. So that's why you have to think twice, because things are not the same anymore, and it's not gonna be the same. If you are thinking that things are gonna get better, it's not. There's no hope of getting better anyway. I haven't seen anything getting better. Is what we see, that the world is getting worse. You know what I mean? Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our video. Peace.